Look up at the night sky, and your brain tells you a comforting lie. It tells you that the universe is a sprawling, peaceful ocean of darkness, sprinkled evenly with isolated islands of light. It feels infinite, yes, but manageable, predictable. You are trained by everyday experience to believe that gravity works in localized, isolated pockets. A star holds its planets in a delicate dance. A supermassive black hole anchors a galaxy. And between these galaxies, there is nothing but the quiet, ever-expanding void. But when we point our most sensitive instruments into the deep dark, capturing photons that have been traveling for billions of years, this comforting illusion violently shatters. Zoom out far enough, and the universe does not look like an ocean of scattered islands. It looks like a shattered mirror. It resembles a tangled, luminous nervous system stretching across the abyss. And buried deep within that cosmic web is an anomaly of such staggering scale that it forces us to question the fundamental laws of reality. Imagine a structure so unimaginably vast that light itself, the absolute speed limit of the cosmos, takes 1 billion years just to cross from one end to the other. A colossal wall woven from 10,000 galaxies, bound together by an invisible gravitational tether containing the mass of 10,000 trillion suns. This is the Boss Great Wall. It is a superstructure of terrifying proportions, lingering in the dark sector of the universe, silently mocking our understanding of physics. The chilling truth is not merely that it exists, but that according to our current models of cosmology, it shouldn't. The mathematics governing the expansion of the universe dictate a strict, unforgiving timeline. There simply has not been enough time since the dawn of creation for gravity to drag this much matter across this much empty space. The universe is entirely too young for a wall of this magnitude to have been built. Yet it is there, a blinding monument to our own ignorance, casting a long shadow over everything we thought we knew about the birth and evolution of space and time. It suggests that there are forces at work in the deep, dark, unseen currents, pulling on the fabric of reality, that are far more aggressive and structured than we ever dared to calculate. To understand this titan, we must abandon the safety of our localized physics. We must step out into the terrifying architecture of the void. If you seek the truth in the dark and wish to unravel the mysteries of a universe that does not care about our intuition, subscribe and join us on this journey. We are going to dismantle the illusion of the cosmos piece by piece, because the real horror of the Boss Great Wall is not just its impossible size. It is what its existence implies about the very foundation of our physical reality. To grasp the terror of this anomaly, we have to dismantle everything you think you know about how the universe operates. We must travel back to the origins of our understanding, to a time when humanity believed the cosmos was a safe, predictable machine. For centuries, our intuition was chained to the genius of Sir Isaac Newton. He gave us a clockwork universe. In Newton's mind, space was merely an empty stage, a rigid, unchanging void where the actors, stars, planets, and moons played out their gravitational drama. Gravity, in this classical view, was an instantaneous, invisible tether connecting masses across the dark. It was a comforting framework. It meant that if you knew the position and momentum of the gears in the clock, you could predict the future and rewind the past. The universe made logical, localized sense. Then the 20th century arrived, and Albert Einstein completely shattered the clockwork. Einstein forced us to realize that space is not an empty stage. It is a physical, pliable fabric intricately woven with time itself. Gravity is not an invisible tether pulling objects together. It is the geometric warping of this space-time fabric by massive objects. Imagine the crushing, agonizing pressure of the deepest oceanic trenches, where the sheer weight of water distorts everything within it. Now apply that concept to the vacuum of the cosmos. A star does not simply pull on a planet. It carves a deep gravitational valley into the fabric of reality, and the planet merely rolls along the curved walls of that valley. This was a terrifying revelation, but it was mathematically beautiful. It gave us general relativity. Yet general relativity came with a deeply unsettling consequence when applied to the entire universe. The mathematics revealed a merciless truth. The fabric of space-time could not sit still. It had to be either collapsing in on itself under the collective weight of all matter, or expanding outward. It was Edwin Hubble, shivering through the freezing nights in the cold steel cage of the Mount Wilson Observatory, who provided the fatal blow to a static, peaceful universe. Staring through the 100-inch Hooker telescope, Hubble captured the faint, ghostly light of distant galaxies on fragile glass photographic plates. He was analyzing a phenomenon we now call redshift. Think of redshift not as a complex mathematical formula, but as the visual echo of a siren rushing away from you in the dead of night. As an ambulance speeds past, the sound waves stretch, dropping the pitch of the siren to a lower, deeper register. Light behaves the exact same way. As an object speeds away from us, the very waves of its light are physically stretched by the expanding void, shifting their color toward the red end of the spectrum. Hubble looked deep into the abyss and realized that nearly every galaxy was violently red-shifting. The universe was not a static ocean, it was an explosion. It was fleeing from itself in all directions. This discovery gave birth to the Big Bang theory, and with it, a strict, unforgiving cosmic clock. By measuring the rate of this expansion and running the tape backward, astrophysicists were able to calculate the exact age of reality: 13.8 billion years. That is the absolute budget of time. Every single atom, every star, every galaxy, and every complex structure in the cosmos had exactly 13.8 billion years to form, arrange itself, and evolve. Not a second more. To make the mathematics of this expanding universe work, scientists had to rely on a foundational assumption. It is the bedrock of modern astrophysics, known as the cosmological principle. The cosmological principle states that when viewed on a large enough scale, the universe is both homogeneous and isotropic. This means that no matter where you are in the cosmos, and no matter which direction you look, the universe should generally look the same. It is the assumption of cosmic mediocrity. Yes, on a small scale, the universe is chaotic and clumpy. You have a dense star here, a rocky planet there, and vast stretches of cold emptiness in between. You have clusters of galaxies violently colliding. But imagine looking at a sprawling metropolis at midnight from a second-story window. It looks chaotic. You see individual street lamps, dark alleys, the flashing neon of a storefront, the asymmetrical, jagged lines of apartment buildings. It is highly irregular. However, if you board a plane and view that exact same city from 40,000 feet in the air, the chaos vanishes. The city blends into a smooth, uniform grid of glowing light. This is what astrophysicists call the end of greatness. The mathematics dictate that once you zoom out to a scale of roughly 300 million light-years, the universe should stop being clumpy. The gravity of individual galaxies and clusters should blur together. The cosmos should transition into a continuous, featureless gray fog of matter, spread evenly across the expanding void. If the cosmological principle is true, there can be no structures larger than this limit. The universe simply does not possess the mechanism to build anything bigger, because building cosmic structures requires gravity, and gravity, for all its terrifying power to crush stars into black holes, is actually the weakest force in nature. On a cosmic scale, it is agonizingly slow. Let us look at the cold mechanics of how a galaxy is built. In the infancy of the universe, shortly after the primordial plasma cooled, the cosmos was an almost perfectly smooth soup of hydrogen and helium gas. But buried within this soup were microscopic quantum imperfections, tiny regions where the gas was just a fraction of a percent denser than the surrounding void. Over hundreds of millions of years, the weak, relentless pull of gravity began to act on these microscopic imperfections. It is an incredibly inefficient process. Gravity has to drag disparate atoms of hydrogen across unimaginable distances of empty space. It took hundreds of millions of years just to ignite the first stars. It took billions of years for those stars to swarm together, guided by the invisible scaffolding of dark matter, to form the first ragged galaxies. It takes billions of years more for those galaxies to drift toward one another, fighting against the relentless outward expansion of the universe itself to form clusters. Every step of this construction requires time, immense, unfathomable oceans of time. Gravity must fight a war of attrition against the expanding void, slowly reeling matter in across millions of light-years, like a fisherman fighting a leviathan on a fraying line. Our current models map this out with excruciating precision. We know the speed limit of gravity. We know the rate of cosmic expansion. We can calculate exactly how much matter can be pulled together within the 13.8 billion years the universe has existed. We know the architectural limits of reality. And yet, staring back at us from the dark sector, sitting billions of light-years away, is the Boss Great Wall, a structure spanning 1 billion light-years in diameter, a sprawling, tangled web of dark matter and luminous galaxies that dwarfs the end of greatness by a factor of 3. To look at the Boss Great Wall is to look out the window of that airplane cruising at 40,000 feet over a uniform, glowing grid of a city, only to see a single, impossibly massive skyscraper piercing through the clouds, dwarfing the entire metropolis beneath it. Worse still, because light takes billions of years to reach our telescopes, we are not seeing the Boss Great Wall as it exists today. We are seeing it as it existed in the distant past, when the universe was significantly younger. This means it had even less time to form. We are looking at a structure that requires more time to build than the universe had to give. It is a monument that breaks the cosmic clock. Its sheer existence implies a terrifying flaw in our understanding of gravity, or dark matter, or the very age of the cosmos itself. It suggests that in the deep, unseen reaches of the void, matter was forced together at speeds and scales that defy the mathematical limits of our reality. The comforting illusion of a smooth, predictable, clockwork universe begins to unravel violently when faced with the sheer mass of this anomaly. And as we zoom in closer, peering into the actual architecture of this billion light-year monstrosity, the mechanics of how it holds itself together against the ripping force of cosmic expansion reveal an even deeper descent into the unknown. To grasp the sheer, crushing scale of this anomaly, we must look at how we found it. We did not stumble upon the Boss Great Wall by simply peering through a glass lens in a dark field, hoping to witness something spectacular. The human eye, even aided by polished mirrors, is blind to the true architecture of the cosmos. To see the skeleton of the universe, we had to industrialize our vision. We had to stop looking at the stars and start mass-producing the mathematical capture of ancient light. This monumental effort took place at the Apache Point Observatory, perched high in the cold, isolated altitudes of the Sacramento Mountains in New Mexico. Here, a relatively modest 2.5-meter telescope was weaponized for a very specific, unrelenting task. It was not built to take breathtaking, colorful photographs of nearby nebulae. It was built to map the abyss. This was the headquarters of the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, a project designed to construct the most detailed three-dimensional map of the universe ever attempted. The mechanics of this survey were a masterclass in cold, repetitive precision. To map the void, engineers did not rely on standard cameras. Instead, they machined massive, heavy aluminum plates, each one precision drilled with exactly 1,000 tiny holes. Every single hole corresponded to the exact predicted location of a distant galaxy in the night sky. In the freezing mountain air, technicians would manually plug a delicate optical fiber into each of these 1,000 holes. When the telescope was locked onto its target sector of the sky, the light from 1,000 separate galaxies, light that had been traveling through the freezing vacuum of space for billions of years, would fall onto that aluminum plate. The optical fibers captured this ancient light and fed it directly into a pair of highly sensitive spectrographs. A spectrograph does not take a picture. It dissects reality. It takes the incoming beam of starlight and shatters it, spreading it out into its component wavelengths. Imagine passing a white light through a prism and watching it fan out into a rainbow. Now imagine doing that with the faint, ghostly light of an entire galaxy and looking closely at the resulting spectrum. You will not see a perfect, smooth band of color. You will see something that resembles a barcode. These barcodes are made of sharp black lines interrupting the spectrum. They are absorption lines, the chemical fingerprints of the cosmos. As the blinding light of billions of stars burns its way through the cooler gas permeating their home galaxy, specific elements in that gas, hydrogen, helium, calcium, iron, absorb very specific wavelengths of light. This leaves a permanent dark gap in the spectrum, a missing sliver of color that acts as an unforgeable signature. But the Sloan Digital Sky Survey was not just looking for what the galaxies were made of. They were looking at where those barcodes were positioned. Because the universe is violently expanding, the galaxies are receding from us. As they speed away, the light they emit is physically stretched, its waves drawn out over the vast distances of expanding space. This stretching forces the entire optical barcode to shift toward the red end of the spectrum. By measuring exactly how far those black lines have shifted from their natural resting positions, astrophysicists can calculate exactly how fast a galaxy is moving away from us. And because we know the rate of the universe's expansion, knowing a galaxy's speed gives us its exact distance. This was the Baryon Oscillation Spectroscopic Survey, BOSS. The team was mapping the spatial distribution of luminous red galaxies, dragging the deep universe out of the two-dimensional sky and plotting it onto a massive three-dimensional grid. They were looking for subtle ripples in the density of matter, the fossilized acoustic waves left over from the intense radiation of the Big Bang. They expected to find a universe that, on the grandest scales, smoothed out into a predictable, uniform fog. Instead, the servers at Apache Point quietly registered an error in our understanding of reality. As the mapping software plotted the coordinates of thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of galaxies, a terrifying shape began to materialize in the dark sector of the map. It was a region of space, located roughly 4.5 to 6.5 billion light-years away from Earth. In this particular swath of the void, the galaxies were not scattered evenly. They were swarming. At first it looked like a cluster, then a supercluster. But as more aluminum plates were drilled, as more optical fibers drank the ancient light, the structure kept growing. It defied the boundaries of any known classification. It was not a single, isolated grouping of galaxies. It was a staggering complex of 4 distinct colossal superclusters, physically bound together in a sprawling, tangled web. To understand the scale of the BOSS Great Wall, we must attempt to visualize a number that the human brain evolved to ignore. The diameter of this structure is estimated to be 1 billion light-years across. Consider the speed of light. It is the absolute, unbreakable speed limit of the universe, moving at roughly 186,000 miles every single second. At this speed, light can circle the Earth's equator 7.5 times in a single heartbeat. It takes light just 8 minutes to cross the vast freezing gulf between the Sun and our planet. It takes light 4 years to reach our nearest neighboring star. Now, imagine a photon of light, born at one edge of the BOSS Great Wall. Traveling at that blinding, incomprehensible speed, racing through the void without ever slowing down, it will take that photon 1 billion years to reach the opposite side. When the light we are currently receiving from the very edge of this wall first began its journey, the Earth was entirely unrecognizable. Multicellular life did not exist. The oceans were devoid of complex organisms. The continents were barren rock. Entire epochs of biological evolution, the rise and fall of the dinosaurs, the tectonic shifting of the continents, the entirety of human history, all of our wars, all of our empires, all of our technological triumphs, all of it happened in the time it took light simply to cross the diameter of this cosmic anomaly. Within this billion light-year expanse, the numbers cease to represent objects and become sheer, terrifying concepts of mass. The wall contains 830 massive, highly luminous galaxies, but these are only the brightest nodes, the beacons burning in the dark. Surrounding them are untold thousands of smaller, fainter galaxies, rogue star clusters, and vast, sweeping rivers of interstellar dust. The total mass of the BOSS Great Wall is estimated to be 10,000 times the mass of the Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way combined. We are talking about the mass of 10,000 trillion suns. If you were to take every single star you can see in the night sky, every planet, every asteroid, and every grain of dust in our entire galactic neighborhood, and multiply it by 10,000, you would only just begin to approximate the sheer physical weight of this structure. It is a mass so profound that it violently warps the space and time around it, carving a gravitational valley so deep that the surrounding universe is inexorably drawn toward its center. But the galaxies themselves, the burning stars and the swirling gas, only account for a fraction of the architecture. The true horror of the Boss Great Wall lies in what we cannot see. Galaxies do not hang suspended in empty space. They are not isolated islands. They are connected. To hold a structure of this unimaginable size together across 1 billion light-years, you need a skeleton. You need a binding agent that possesses enough gravitational authority to resist the relentless, ripping force of cosmic expansion. This skeleton is made of dark matter. Dark matter is the ghost of the cosmos. It does not emit light. It does not reflect light. It does not interact with electromagnetism in any way that our instruments can detect. If you were holding a block of dark matter in your hands, you would not see it. You would not feel its texture, and it would pass right through your flesh. The only way we know it exists is through its weight. We can observe the gravitational tyranny it exerts on the visible universe. Through a phenomenon known as gravitational lensing, we can actually map this invisible skeleton. When the light from a galaxy situated far behind the Boss Great Wall travels toward Earth, it must pass through the gravitational field of the wall itself. The sheer mass of the wall bends the fabric of space-time, causing the path of the background light to curve, much like light passing through the thick, warped glass of a magnifying lens. By painstakingly measuring these subtle distortions, astrophysicists can reverse engineer the location and mass of the dark matter. The resulting maps reveal a chilling reality. The 4 superclusters of the Boss Great Wall are not separate entities. They are physically chained together by colossal, twisting filaments of dark matter. Imagine a spider web constructed not of silk, but of gravity itself. The superclusters sit at the intersections of this web, forming unimaginably dense nodes of matter. Connecting these nodes are vast glowing highways of dark matter and superheated gas, stretching across millions of light-years of empty space. These filaments act as cosmic arteries, constantly funneling fresh material, hydrogen gas and smaller galaxies, into the crushing gravitational embrace of the superclusters. The environment inside these dark matter filaments is violently hostile. While the empty space between galaxies is incredibly cold, sitting just a few degrees above absolute zero, the sheer gravitational friction within the filaments tells a different story. As matter is dragged along these dark highways at millions of miles per hour, it collides. The intergalactic gas is compressed and superheated to millions of degrees, radiating a fierce, invisible glow in the X-ray spectrum. To exist within the Boss Great Wall is to be caught in a slow, eternal war of gravitational attrition. The individual galaxies within the superclusters are locked in chaotic, high-speed orbits around common centers of mass. They frequently collide in spectacular, slow-motion catastrophes, their galactic arms tearing each other apart, stripping away billions of stars and hurling them into the dark, intergalactic medium. Supermassive black holes at the centers of these colliding galaxies gorge on the sudden influx of gas, igniting into quasars that outshine entire galaxies, blasting jets of lethal radiation across the void. Yet this internal violence is dwarfed by the larger, more existential conflict defining the wall. The Boss Great Wall is not just existing, it is resisting. The universe is expanding, pulling the fabric of space apart everywhere at once. But gravity is a counterforce. The gravity of the wall is so immense, the dark matter skeleton so robust, that it is actively fighting the expansion of the universe. It is an anchor of unimaginable mass, refusing to be torn apart by the relentless stretching of the void. This creates a terrifying tension. The space inside the voids, the vast empty bubbles separating the dark matter filaments, is expanding freely, pushing outward. But the filaments themselves, the dense architecture of the wall, are holding tight. The forces at play are operating on a scale that mathematically breaks our understanding of structural integrity in the early universe. We are forced to confront the chilling timeline of its creation. The Boss Great Wall sits at a redshift of roughly 0.47. This means we are seeing the structure as it existed over 5 billion years ago. The universe was smaller then, it was denser, and critically, it was younger. Building a structure of 10,000 trillion solar masses, weaving a dark matter skeleton across 1 billion light-years, is not a rapid process. It requires the slow, methodical accumulation of mass through gravitational attraction. It requires smaller filaments merging into larger filaments, clusters merging into superclusters. It requires time. But when astrophysicists calculate the necessary timeline to assemble a structure of this magnitude, the math turns hostile. Based on the cosmological principle and our standard model of cosmic evolution, the early universe was too smooth and gravity too weak to have constructed this anomaly so quickly. The void simply did not have the time to organize itself on this scale. The mechanism required to gather this much matter across this much space, the mathematics of cosmic growth govern a brutal, unyielding tug-of-war. On one side, you have the relentless outward pressure of the expanding void, a force pulling the fabric of reality apart at every point simultaneously. On the other side, you have gravity, the architect of matter, desperately trying to reel mass together. The equations born from general relativity establish a strict, non-negotiable speed limit for how fast gravity can win this war in the early universe. We can calculate the exact rate at which a microscopic fluctuation in the primordial gas can grow into a star, a galaxy, and eventually a supercluster. The math dictates that matter can only travel so far and aggregate so quickly before the expanding universe tears it out of gravitational reach. When astrophysicists feed these equations into our most advanced supercomputers, attempting to simulate the birth of the universe from the primordial plasma to the present day, the simulation operates with cold, mechanical perfection. It meticulously builds galaxies out of dust. It strings them together into standard clusters. But when we force the simulation to build a billion light-year wall of 10,000 galaxies within the rigid time frame allowed by the observable universe, the code fails. The virtual reality breaks down. The supercomputer outputs a uniform, featureless fog, completely unable to forge the monster we clearly see burning in the sky. The math simply refuses to construct the anomaly. This mathematical failure strikes at the very heart of the cosmological principle, the foundational assumption that the universe is homogeneous and isotropic on a large scale. This principle is not merely a philosophical preference, it is the load-bearing pillar of modern cosmology. Without it, the equations we use to measure vast distances, calculate the age of the cosmos, and understand the dark energy ripping space apart completely collapse. Imagine standing on an endless frozen lake, engulfed in a dense, perfectly uniform fog. Because the fog is homogeneous, you can safely assume that no matter which direction you walk, the physical conditions will remain exactly the same. You can write elegant equations based on that uniformity. But if the Boss Great Wall exists, the fog is an illusion. You are walking blindly through the mist and suddenly colliding with a monolithic wall of solid iron that stretches endlessly beyond the horizon, destroying any concept of a smooth, predictable landscape. The existence of such extreme architecture proves that our assumption of a featureless universe might be a catastrophic miscalculation. We may be living in a reality that is fundamentally lopsided, a terrifying fractal where the rules of density and mass change violently depending on how deep you look into the void. The paradox deepens exponentially when we confront the barrier of information transfer, a nightmare known in astrophysics as the horizon problem. To understand this, we must view the speed of light not just as a measure of velocity, but as the absolute limit of causality. In our universe, nothing can happen instantly. For one region of space to physically influence another, for gravity to pull, for heat to transfer, for structures to align, a signal must travel between them, and that signal can never exceed the speed of light. Consider a vast global network of servers running a complex multiplayer simulation. If two servers are located on opposite sides of the planet, there is an unavoidable latency, a physical delay in communication. If those servers are completely disconnected, running independently in isolation without any fiber optic cables bridging the gap, they cannot possibly synchronize. Their environments will evolve in total chaos, completely oblivious to one another. Now, apply this latency to the cosmos. The distance from one end of the Boss Great Wall to the other is so unimaginably vast that light itself takes 1 billion years to cross it. In the violent early days of the universe, when this titanic structure was first beginning to coagulate, The opposite ends of the wall were separated by distances far greater than light could have possibly traveled since the Big Bang. They were causally disconnected. They were servers without a cable. One end of the structure could not mathematically know about the existence of the other end. Gravity could not reach across the expanding gap. Heat could not equalize. There was absolutely no physical mechanism for the two ends to coordinate their growth, align their dark matter filaments, and merge into a single cohesive gravitational system. Yet they did. They stand today as a unified, tightly bound skeleton. To observe the Boss Great Wall is akin to finding two completely isolated servers, separated by millions of miles of dead vacuum, inexplicably running the exact same synchronized code down to the millisecond. To force the mathematics to bridge this impossible gap, modern physics relies heavily on the Lambda CDM model, a blueprint built entirely on phantom entities. In this standard model of reality, dark energy acts as the repelling force, accelerating the expansion of the void, while cold dark matter acts as the sluggish, invisible scaffolding that allows galaxies to form. The term cold is vital. The mathematics require dark matter to move incredibly slowly, allowing it to clump together under its own weight, without dispersing outward. We have built our entire understanding of reality on this precise cocktail of invisible forces, assuming that the universe forms from the bottom up, small clumps of dark matter slowly merging over billions of years to form larger and larger structures in a chaotic, unguided orchestration. But the Boss Great Wall threatens to violently overturn this delicate framework. If cold dark matter is as sluggish and methodical as the equations demand, it simply could not have dragged enough intergalactic gas and furious galaxies across 1 billion light-years to forge this superstructure in the time allotted. The scaffolding is entirely too massive, and the cosmic clock is entirely too short. The probability of near-infinite microscopic clumps of matter naturally finding each other across causally disconnected space to build a perfectly aligned billion light-year web is indistinguishable from zero. This leaves the scientific community staring into a terrifying abyss of alternatives. Either dark matter is not cold and behaves in a fundamentally different, far more aggressive manner than we ever theorized, or dark energy, the force supposedly tearing the universe apart, was dormant in the deep past, allowing gravity, an unchecked window of time, to build leviathans in the dark. Or perhaps most chillingly of all, our entire understanding of gravity is fundamentally broken. We have spent a century worshipping at the altar of general relativity, treating Einstein's geometric masterpiece as the infallible law of the cosmos. General relativity works with terrifying precision when plotting the orbit of Mercury around our sun, or when predicting the violent collision of two black holes, or when calculating the microscopic time dilation experienced by satellites in Earth's orbit. It is the perfect localized tool. But there is a growing quiet dread among theoretical physicists that we are trying to measure the volume of a raging ocean using the mechanics of a single, isolated drop of water. What if the equations of gravity warp and change their nature when stretched across billions of light years? Some radical theories attempt to rewrite the laws of physics on intergalactic scales, suggesting that gravitational force does not weaken at the mathematical rate we expect when distances become unfathomably vast. If gravity is inherently stronger on these massive scales than general relativity predicts, the need for a phantom dark matter skeleton vanishes entirely. But the cost of this solution is the complete and utter destruction of modern physics. We would be forced to throw a century of mathematical triumph into the fire and admit that we do not understand the fundamental force holding our feet to the ground. Imagine standing at the edge of a colossal canyon shrouded in total pitch-black darkness. You possess a flashlight that illuminates exactly 100 feet in front of you. Within that pathetic circle of light, you can see every rock, every jagged edge, the exact angle of the slope. You can write exhaustive, perfect equations describing the terrain you can see. You believe, with absolute arrogance, that you understand the mechanics of the canyon. But then a massive flash of distant lightning illuminates the abyss for a fraction of a second, and you see that far beyond your 100-foot circle of light, the canyon defies everything you calculated. The rocks float in the void. The walls twist into impossible non-Euclidean geometries. The physics you trusted so absolutely were only true within the pathetic, localized range of your flashlight. The Boss Great Wall is that blinding flash of lightning. It is a massive glowing beacon situated far beyond the protective bubble of our localized physics, signaling that the rules of the game change violently in the deep dark. This creates a profound and agonizing tension within the astronomical community. The observers, the men and women spending freezing nights staring at optical fibers in isolated mountain observatories, possess the hard, unyielding data. They have the spectra. They have the exact red shifts. They have meticulously mapped the coordinates of 10,000 galaxies, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the massive, twisted skeleton of the wall is real. It is an immovable physical fact hanging in the void. On the other side of the divide are the theorists armed with quantum mathematics and humming supercomputers holding the fundamental equations of the cosmos, and the two sides cannot be reconciled. The observers drag a terrifying beast into the room, and the theorists look at their math and declare that the beast cannot legally exist. It is a scientific paradox of the highest order. It is as if an archaeologist dug into a geological stratum definitively dated to the Jurassic period and brushed away the ancient dust to find the fully functioning titanium-encased engines of a modern jet aircraft. The object is undeniably there, physically resting in your hands, yet its very existence violates every known law of chronological and technological progression. The Boss Great Wall is the titanium engine buried deep in the cosmic fossil record. It is an architectural impossibility that we are forced to look at every single time we point our instruments into the dark sector. And as we continue to map the universe, pushing our vision deeper into the past, the anxiety only deepens. We are not finding a smooth, featureless fog as the mathematics promised. The theoretical limit where the universe is supposed to become uniform is constantly being pushed further and further back into the abyss. Before the Boss Great Wall, there was the Sloan Great Wall. Before that, the CFA2 Great Wall. Every time we build a larger, more sensitive telescope, every time we cast a wider net into the ancient dark, we haul up another Leviathan that the math dictates should not exist. The terrifying implication is not just that we have found one isolated anomaly. The true horror lies in the possibility that the Boss Great Wall might not be an anomaly at all. It might be the standard, brutal architecture of a reality that we simply do not possess the intelligence to comprehend. If structures of this unimaginable magnitude are common, if the universe is entirely composed of these billion light-year webs of screaming dark matter and violently colliding superclusters, then the cosmological principle is dead. And if that foundation crumbles, then everything we have built upon it, from the exact moment of the Big Bang to the accelerating death of the void, is constructed on sand. We are staring at a universe that is behaving in ways our mathematics physically cannot describe. The fundamental equations are breaking under the weight. The simulations are crashing. The reassuring, predictable clockwork of the cosmos is dissolving, revealing a raw, overwhelming wilderness where our most sacred theories are violently rendered obsolete. When a foundational law of physics cracks, the entire architecture of our understanding collapses. The existence of the Boss Great Wall forces us to confront a deeply unsettling consequence. The physics we teach in our universities, the elegant equations we use to build our bridges, launch our satellites and measure the stars, might only be a localized dialect. We have operated under the arrogant assumption that the language of the cosmos is universal. We believed with absolute certainty that the gravity anchoring your feet to the Earth right now is the exact same gravitational force operating on the edge of the observable universe. But this billion light-year titan suggests we are merely living inside a temporary, fragile bubble of mathematical convenience. Our solar system, our Milky Way galaxy, even our local group of neighboring galaxies are microscopically small. We are operating under the rules of a cosmic puddle, completely ignorant of the violent, crushing hydrodynamics of the deep ocean. If gravity scales differently across unfathomable distances, if dark matter is far more aggressive and structured than our models allow, Or if the universe is fundamentally lopsided, then humanity is navigating a dark, predatory forest with a map drawn for a completely different landscape. This is not merely an academic crisis debated in university halls. It means our entire capacity to predict the future of the cosmos and our place within it is fundamentally compromised. We are functionally blind. To understand the true existential terror of this consequence, we must look at the ultimate trajectory of reality. The universe is not just expanding, that expansion is aggressively accelerating. We call the engine of this terrifying acceleration dark energy. It is not a substance you can touch or a radiation you can shield against. It is a phantom pressure built into the very vacuum of empty space itself. As the universe grows, more empty space is created, and with more space comes more dark energy, creating a runaway, catastrophic feedback loop of cosmic repulsion. Dark energy is the ultimate undefeated agent of entropy. Its final merciless goal is to rip every galaxy, every star system, and eventually every physical atom apart, dissolving the intricately structured universe into a freezing, featureless, lifeless void. Against this unstoppable tidal wave stands the Boss Great Wall. It is a colossal anchor of solid mass refusing to be swept away. The gravity of 10,000 trillion suns is locked in a brutal, silent war against the vacuum of space itself. This is where the physics become apocalyptic. The wall is so unimaginably massive that it creates a localized pocket of absolute resistance against the end of the universe. While the empty voids between superclusters are rapidly stretching, tearing the fabric of space-time apart at the seams, the dense dark matter filaments of the wall are actively fighting back. They are pulling inward. We are witnessing the clash of the two greatest forces in nature on a stage so vast it breaks the human mind. But this resistance is not peaceful. The physical stress of fighting the expansion of the universe generates a thermodynamic nightmare. The wall is not a static object. It is an active, screaming engine of friction. As the dark matter skeleton pulls relentlessly inward against the outward rip of dark energy, the intergalactic gas trapped within its web is compressed to agonizing extremes. This is not the gentle heat of a star. This is the kinetic fury of entire galactic clusters being dragged together at millions of miles per hour. The collision of these sprawling cosmic oceans of gas heats the matter to tens of millions of degrees, bathing the entire billion light-year structure in a lethal, invisible glow of heavy X-ray radiation. To exist anywhere near the central nodes of the Boss Great Wall is to be subjected to a sterilized, irradiated hellscape, a chaotic storm of radiation born from the friction of reality trying to hold itself together. And the consequences extend far beyond thermodynamics and radiation. Because gravity and time are inextricably linked, the sheer crushing mass of the wall does more than warp the physical geometry of space. It physically slows down the flow of time. Albert Einstein taught us that time is not a constant ticking clock hanging in the background of the universe. Time is a physical dimension, and it bends under weight. The deeper you plunge into a gravitational well, the slower your clock ticks relative to an observer safely floating in the empty void. We observe this on a microscopic scale on Earth. A clock at sea level ticks infinitesimally slower than a clock on the peak of a mountain. We observe it violently near the event horizon of a black hole, where time practically stalls into a frozen scream. Now distribute that temporal distortion across a superstructure spanning 1 billion light-years. The interior of the Boss Great Wall is a chronological anomaly. For the galaxies trapped within its densest nodes, locked in those eternal swirling collisions of dark matter, time is dragging heavily like a ship moving through thick mud. If you were to stand on a dead rocky planet near the core of one of those central superclusters and look out into the deep void, you would see the rest of the universe aging in fast motion. You would watch the cosmic expansion accelerate wildly out of control. You would see distant, unbound galaxies racing away from you, their light stretching violently into the infrared, fading into ghostly invisibility as they rapidly cross the cosmic horizon. The wall is not just a spatial fortress protecting matter from the expanding void. It is a temporal prison. The galaxies inside it are fundamentally out of sync with the rest of reality. They are aging at a different, slower rhythm, slowly falling behind the chronological march of the expanding cosmos. The inhabitants of this structure, if any, could survive the radiation and the chaotic orbital mechanics, are trapped in a slow-motion bubble, watching the rest of the universe race toward oblivion. This immense temporal and gravitational isolation leads to the darkest, most chilling consequence of all, the ultimate fate of this Leviathan. As dark energy relentlessly drives the acceleration of the universe, it will eventually overwhelm the gravitational pull of anything that is not tightly, physically bound together. The distant galaxies we see in our telescopes today, the ones floating outside the gravitational jurisdiction of massive structures, will eventually be pushed past the speed of light relative to us. This is not because they are moving through space that fast, but because the space between us and them is stretching faster than light can travel. They will vanish from the observable universe forever. The night sky will slowly, inevitably, be wiped clean. The Boss Great Wall will eventually become a cosmic quarantine zone. The galaxies within its sprawling, tangled web will remain tethered together, successfully fighting off the dark energy, but they will be entirely, permanently cut off from the rest of existence. In the far, distant future, hundreds of billions of years from now, an observer standing within the wall will look up into their night sky and see absolutely nothing beyond the glow of their own immediate supercluster. The surrounding universe will have gone permanently black. The light from other structures, other galaxies, other walls will never be able to cross the rapidly expanding, terrifying gulf of empty space. The wall will be an isolated, lonely island, floating in an endless, freezing ocean of absolute nothingness. Any civilization born in that distant era will have no empirical way of knowing that the rest of the universe ever existed. They will map their local supercluster. They will measure the glowing filaments of dark matter, and they will logically but incorrectly conclude that their localized cage is the entirety of creation. The history of the Big Bang, the echoes of the cosmic microwave background, the sprawling maps of billions of other galaxies, all of that information will be permanently erased by the expansion of the void. And even then, trapped in the ultimate dark, the internal war of the wall will not stop. It cannot sustain itself forever. As the supply of fresh hydrogen gas from the intergalactic filaments is finally exhausted, sucked dry by the relentless churning of the superclusters, the stars within the wall will begin to starve. The grand factories of nuclear fusion will shut down. The massive, brilliant blue stars will detonate in devastating supernovae, leaving behind silent, spinning neutron stars and hungry black holes. The smaller stars, like our own sun, will slowly burn through their remaining fuel, swelling into bloated red giants before collapsing into fading, freezing white dwarfs. The brilliant burning nodes of the superstructure will go dark, one by one, like city lights failing in a slow, continent-wide blackout. The intricate billion-light-year web of dark matter will remain, an invisible gravitational ghost ship sailing endlessly through the void. It will carry nothing but the dead, frozen husks of 10,000 trillion suns, a silent graveyard of black holes and dead planets. It is a monument to a universe that built too big, too fast, only to leave its greatest, most impossible creation entirely alone in the absolute dark. The true horror of the cosmos is not that it is chaotic or violent or unpredictable. The true horror is that it is incredibly, mathematically methodical in its isolation. It builds leviathans that shatter our understanding of physics, only to starve them, locking them in prisons of their own immense gravity as the rest of reality flees into the expanding void. And as we peer through our fragile glass lenses, capturing the ancient light of this doomed, impossible structure, we are forced to turn the lens inward. When we drag our gaze back from that billion light-year abyss and refocus on our own fragile, spinning rock, the gravity of our situation becomes agonizingly clear. We have spent millennia constructing a localized mythology of human importance. We have drawn imaginary lines on maps, waged brutal wars over microscopic patches of dirt, and convinced ourselves that our fleeting thoughts and fragile empires are the absolute center of a grand cosmic narrative. We look at our sprawling cities of glass and steel and feel a profound sense of architectural triumph. But weighed against the scale of the Boss Great Wall, the entirety of human civilization is less than a mathematical rounding error. It is a momentary, microscopic fluctuation of thermal noise in a universe that trades exclusively in the currency of 10,000 trillion suns. We are an ephemeral anomaly. The carbon acting as the scaffolding of our bones, and the iron currently pulling oxygen through our blood, were forged in the dying, crushing hearts of stars that burned out billions of years before the first terrestrial life breathed. We are merely recycled cosmic ash, briefly animated by complex chemical reactions, desperately trying to understand the terrifying architecture of the void we are buried inside. We look up at the night sky, and our primitive brains demand that the universe look back. We want the cosmos to acknowledge our intelligence, to validate our fragile existence, or at the very least, to be a predictable machine that we can eventually conquer and tame with our equations. But the Boss Great Wall offers no such comfort. It stands as a monolithic monument to absolute, crushing indifference. It does not know we are here. It does not care about our carefully constructed mathematics, our localized physics, or the fragile biological limits of our minds. The massive, screaming collisions of dark matter and superheated gas occurring deep within its core have been raging since before the Earth was a molten sphere, and they will continue to rage in the dark long after our sun exhausts its fuel and boils our oceans into silent vapor. The entirety of human history, every triumph, every tragedy, every philosophical revelation, and every scientific discovery will begin and end entirely within a microscopic fraction of a single rotation of just one of its thousands of galaxies. This is the ultimate, inescapable terror of true cosmology. The universe is not a blank canvas prepared for human ambition. It is a cold, mechanical, relentlessly violent expanse that builds impossible leviathans in the dark and ultimately leaves them to starve in the accelerating, expanding void. We are not the protagonists of reality. We are simply a fleeting spark of consciousness, waking up for a fraction of a second in the middle of a pitch-black room, catching a brief, terrifying glimpse of the colossal gears moving silently in the shadows. There is no deeper, comforting meaning to extract from this anomaly. There is no cosmic safety net waiting to catch us. There is only the crushing dark, the mathematics we cannot solve, and the suffocating realization of our own absolute irrelevance in the face of the deep. The wall remains out there in the abyss, silently fighting the end of time, and we remain here, drifting blindly on a microscopic grain of sand, waiting for the light to finally go out.